Hi, my name is Claudia Hirtenfelder, and today I'll be giving you a presentation on thriving and surviving as an international graduate student at Queen's University. So just a little bit about me. I am originally from South Africa and I'm at Queen's as an international student myself. I'm in my second year of my Geography and Planning program, and I'm also in the second year in my role as the International Student Affairs Commissioner for the SGPS, which is your student government. In that role, I hope to address some of the needs and concerns of international students, but I also endeavour to try and create some new and exciting opportunities for them too. So the first resource that's available to international students is one that I'm sure you're already aware of, and that is QUIC, the Queen's University International Centre. There is a reason for that. QUIC has tons of staff that are experts with what they do. They are very well equipped to provide you for tips and advice with regards to questions on regulations or about visas or how many hours you can work. They're also able to talk to you about questions pertaining to the university health insurance plan. And these are all particular to international students, and QUIC is the place to go if you have questions about those. QUIC also has a number of other really useful resources, such as their guidebook, which I would really encourage you to check out, both prior to arriving at Queen's, but also maybe once here to refer back to the guidebook for any questions you might have. But I also really wanted to flag QUIC's orientation events. At this stage, you're probably starting to realize that Queen's University is a decentralized university, which means that different organizations or bodies on campus are arranging their own orientation events, whether that's the School of Graduate Studies or the SGPS or your department. QUIC also has their own orientation events, but these are very much directed at and for international students, asking questions and answering them about like where to get a SIM card or how to open up a bank account. These can sometimes be difficult to navigate, so if you can, I would really encourage you to attend these orientation events. And over and above that, I just wanted to flag QUIC Space. QUIC has one of the nicest spaces on campus, tons of board games, table tennis, free coffee. So once you're here, you've definitely got a place that feels welcoming and comfortable, and really just a nice place to meet other people. The next resource I want to talk to you about is the SGPS, not to be confused with the SGS. So the SGPS is your student government. You have it's a whole big organization that is working towards making sure that the lives of graduate students are as good as they can be. So my role in that is as the International Student Affairs Commissioner. My goals have been threefold. Firstly, I wanted to ensure that the great work of international students and those who are doing international scholarship is celebrated. And I do this through the Beyond Canada podcast, as well as through international research seminars and showcasing such research at the Beyond Boundaries conference. Most of those happen in the winter semester, and if you're interested in being on a podcast, feel free to reach out to me anytime. A new initiative recently launched has been the announcement of 2 competitive awards for international students, or that international students can apply for. These are not emergency funds or bursaries, but given for those who want to compete for academic scholarships. So keep your eyes open for those. Those will be available in the winter semester. And finally, another goal has been to better improve soft infrastructure for international students, and this means creating some governing structures within departments. So each department has its own student government, and if you find that your student government does not have an international representative, then be the person who pushes and encourages them to create such a position, and that's part of the International Graduate Student Network. If you have any questions about these, you're welcome to drop me an email, international@sgps.ca. And the last thing I'll say about the SGPS is if you find yourself in a pickle, there are some emergency funds that are available through the SGPS, so feel free to reach out and apply for those if you need them. One of the roles of the SGPS is also advocacy work, and there are several groups that do advocacy work for graduate students, but I want to flag one of them here for you, the International Student Working Group. They've been around for about 2 years, and this is a group of incredible students that tend to have single-issue campaigns, and they are really robust and raise really critical and important questions about what international student life should be like. If you're looking for a group of students to hang out with who have political inclinations and are just really a dynamic, great group of people, then feel free to find them on Facebook and make some connections. A sister organization of the International Student Working Group is the International Student Caucus. Now, the International Student Caucus is under the Union, PSAC 901, and they tend to be a bit more focused on labor-related issues or questions, and they also host a series of really cool talks about questions and concerns for international students or for migrant laborers. So if you're interested in any sort of questions or conversations with regards to labor or migrant work, then feel free to reach out to this group and see how you can get involved. I do know that not everyone maybe wants to be involved in the political side of things, but also just wants to know about some cool spaces to hang out. And Banri is really a bit of a haven for international students. They are designed, or their mandate is for mature women and those with children, but they are really like a home away from home with free food every day. They've got coffee and fruits on table and lovely couches with books in shelves. So they are just a wonderful group of people. And like the SGPS, they have some emergency funds that are available. So should you need those emergency funds, feel free to reach out to the Banri too. And of course, another resource for you are your departments and the School of Graduate Studies. These are the places you're going to go to if you have questions about your funding package or how it works. They also host a series of workshops and networking opportunities, and are your go-to administrative places. So definitely make sure that you take note of these two, obviously. Okay, so far I've told you some of the different places on campus that will answer questions for you, and they answer different questions, right? So some will deal with your funding package, others will provide some emergency funds, others will help you with your visa permits, others are just great groups to connect with other international students. So you do need to go to different places to have different questions answered. But I wanted to give you some tips from a graduate student to another graduate student. And the first one is to find a fellow international graduate student you can speak to prior to arriving. If you can, reach out to your departments and ask if there's an international student who you can touch base with. And the reason I say this is that international students in your department will probably have unique experiences and will be able to better tell you about some of the lingo in the department, some of how semesters are structured, how work is structured within the department, a variety of maybe what your TA responsibilities could or might look like. Your department is certainly equipped to answer these for you, but it does help to get the perspective from a fellow graduate student. So I would highly encourage you to reach out to either a fellow graduate student or to a fellow international graduate student to just ask some of those questions that you feel, oh, I don't know how to ask this in an email. You know what, have a Zoom or a Teams or a Skype, or we've got so many of them in our conversation with another student, and I think you'll feel a lot more at ease. Another question or tip, that's connected to this is about asking. If you have any murky ideas or you're not too sure how something works, please ask, whether that's asking the School of Graduate Studies or sending me an email or contacting Quick. Feel free to ask. It's really critical that if you are not clear on something, that you are made clear on it, and that we help to make sure that that is as clear as possible. And I don't have a lot of time here to point out all of the tips I've written on this slide, I'm afraid. Many of them have to do with when you first arrive and negotiating, where to find and buy things. But a really important one for when you arrive is to just breathe. The first semester for myself, and I know for many other international graduate students, is really a difficult semester. It's one of transition and change. It's really exciting, but there's also a lot of moving parts with regards to what's going on in your program, what kind of work responsibilities you have, figuring out how, a different culture and country work. So take a beat, breathe in your first semester. It will get easier from your second semester. And I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm just trying to be realistic and say that that first semester might be a bit tough, and to brace yourself for that. Like, be prepared that it might be a bit hard when you first arrive. And if you have any of concerns about what these difficulties might be, communicate with your supervisor, communicate with your department, communicate with Quick or with one of your fellow graduate students, so that we can help you as you transition to your life at Queen's and in Kingston generally. So I'm really sorry I couldn't say more or give you more tips and advice. In a 10-minute presentation, it's pretty tight, but I hope that this has somewhat given you an overview of some of the resources that are available to you as an international graduate student, as well as some tips that point you in the right direction in helping you transition to life here. If you have any questions about anything mentioned in this presentation or even outside of it, feel free to send me an email, international@sgps.ca. Good luck and see you soon.